要出国工作或者是念书了，我相信你在这一年已经做了很多的准备考试、签证、安排到国外的点点滴滴。但今天的单元不是来教你还要带什么东西，而是分享我们历年来服务国外客户的一些经验，还有到国外前心态上的准备。Hello， 欢迎来到 Executive Plus 主管与沟通力的 Podcast。I'm Sherry, an educator, certified coach, and style enthusiast. 我相信专业有效的沟通是语言跟逻辑的完美结合。
And I'm Nick, a startup consultant, corporate trainer, and late-night gaming junkie. I believe great communication requires the right mindset and solid frameworks.
我们希望带给大家职场英语的技能、跨文化沟通技巧与其他能帮助您成为出色领导者的工具。
Join us each week as we share our experience, research, and methodologies to take your communication and language skills from good to great. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Executive Plus podcast. Around the world, people are getting back to their old travel habits, which is also opening an opportunity that many haven't thought about since before 2019, the idea of working or studying abroad. So today, we want to talk about our own experience and a few key ideas mentally and communication-wise that you should take with you if you're considering working abroad or studying abroad in the coming years.
没错，现在开始大家都出国旅游，那很多人要出国念书或者是工作的人也做准备了。那我相信啊，你们都准备好所有所需要的签证啊，可能考试啊，安排很多点点滴滴啊。但是今天我们想要跟大家分享的是心态上的准备。那这些也是经由我们多年来的经验，我本身出国的经验，还有一些客户所分享的一些经验来分享给大家。那第一个部分呢，我们想分享一下，就是 having a clear goal， 也就是很清楚的知道以自己的目标。那这个目标可能就是 personal goal， 或者是 career goal, academic goal， 甚至可以很细的分到，比如说你希望在前半年能够去了几个不同的 clubs 或者是 organization 认识新的朋友，或者它可能也是一个 career goal， 你前几个月希望能够完成什么的 project。Or it could be academic goal， 你希望在这一两年的时间能够认识什么的 professor， 能够做什么样子的研究。Having these goals clear in your mind, it's incredibly important before you study abroad.
Conventional wisdom may be like, oh, if you're going abroad, you shouldn't have a lot of goals. You should just be open and go experience everything and do everything. That's definitely true, but contrary to what most people think, having goals actually allows you to do that better. If you're very clear on what you want to achieve while you're there, you can carve out the time or the things that you need to achieve that, and then the rest is more open to whatever you want to experience or whatever you want to do. In my case, when I first came to Taiwan, I wasn't thinking so much about career goals, which is pretty obvious if you look at like how quickly my career has changed since I arrived. But it actually came down to more of a financial goal. I knew how much I was going to make. I knew how much money I wanted to save, or if I wanted to send it back to the US to pay off, say, like student loans. And what that meant for me is just every month I had a very clear idea how much money do I need to save? How much money is it going to cost me to do my daily living? And then the rest was explore the island, go do things. If someone's like, you want to take a trip here, you want to go to this place, then I would be like, yeah, sure, it's in my budget. Let's go crazy. Let's go have some fun.
And I think for me, when I entered college, I didn't quite have a very clear goal what I was doing. All I knew was like, I have to complete what I was doing. I have to pass all the classes. But I have a very clear goal for personal. Now, I knew that I wanted to join as many organizations or try things out as many as possible. 所以这个部分我当初是还蛮具体的，有给自己一个 goal. So I pledged for sororities. I tried out for a musical. I am not musically talented at all. but I tried it out. I also tried out for like a dance company, and I think I tried out for so many different really random things. 但是当然这些 experience 大部分的 experience 都是我换来的就是 embarrassment. But 我觉得对我来讲 it's an incredibly valuable experience that I had. So 因为我觉得在国外不管是工作还是要念书，其实有很多 uncertainties. 那这也是为什么很多人出国一定都会感到有点紧张的原因 right? There are so many things you just don't know what's going to happen. 但是如果在部分你人生的部分你有这些很清楚的目标，有一些有点像是 anchor, like it anchors you down and just allows you to just experience that uncertainty and, to enjoy the uncertainties, but still have a very clear idea what you wanted to do and where you wanted to go.
I really like that idea of anchor, especially when it comes to specific career or academic goals that you want to achieve. The other type of goal that I would advocate setting are ones that help you create new opportunities or have new experiences. Very often on the podcast, we talk about, okay, when it comes to goals, you should have numbers or data involved. But there are certain times where that's to your disadvantage. So rather than setting a goal like, I'm going to find 6 new friends this week, or I'm going to meet 75 new people, on the surface, that sounds good. But when you set that kind of goal, sometimes it's unrealistic or it's too constraining. But if you set a goal like, I'm going to join one new activity every week as a chance to meet new people. Now, this is a type of goal that opens opportunities for you. You're not setting it to like how many people I need to meet or how many new friends I need to make or how many English conversations I need to have. You're actually setting it more around what can I do to create openings for me to have new experiences.
Now, the second thing we wanted to share is always ask for help. Personally, 我个人本身是一个不太喜欢麻烦人的人。那我觉得这个也是台湾人的一个精神啦。我们不太喜欢麻烦人，总觉得自己来就好了。Now, I think that's great. I think we should embrace who we are. But the downside of that is that we may experience some stress and anxiety when it's not necessary, right? 其实在工作上面，公司或者是学校，他们都有非常多的资源，但是你不去问的话，这个资源它不会出现。Only when you ask for help, that resource will open up to you.
In the case of asking for help, one of the big mental blocks that people need to get over is that when they ask for help, they feel embarrassed, they feel shy, they feel worried, especially in a foreign country. Yeah. I'm the same. First coming here and not speaking the language, but you just have a lot of trepidation, a lot of worries and anxiety about asking for help. But one of the big mental blocks that people can get over is realizing sometimes, actually most of the time, the absolute worst answer you can get is no, I can't help you. Like, that's it. It's not devastating. It's not life-changing. It's not going to destroy anything that's going on in your life. It's just simply someone cannot offer that help or is unwilling to offer that help. But the best case scenario is you get what you want or you get even more than you expected. So really just going out there and asking for help, even in very using body language or not describing something perfectly, you may be surprised at what's offered to you.
I mean, I cannot recall how many times where I may ask for a simple help from my neighbor. Let's say, 请他们帮我收个包裹好了。在国外，通常如果你们不是住在 apartment， 你的包裹可能就是在你的门的外面. That's it. So maybe if something like super valuable and I ask my neighbors like, could you just accept my package for me? And it was a simple ask for help. 但是我得到的是，我这个 neighbor 就知道说，我一个人住在这边，那他在很多 holiday 的时候，或者是他做了一些 they make cookies, Americans, they're very hospitable when it comes to that. They make cookies and cake. They would just knock on my door and be like, would you like to have some? So again, like going back to what you said, I ended up getting so much more just from that simple ask for help.
Sometimes it can go beyond just asking for help in person. meaning you can ask someone just to point you in the direction, but also looking for things online. And if you have a question or something is not clear, ask the person on the other side.
Yeah.
In the case of studying abroad, you would be shocked at how many scholarships, especially for international students, go unclaimed, right? Studying, especially a master's or PhD internationally, is incredibly expensive.
Yeah.
So a lot of people think, oh, either, I need to come from a wealthy family or I have a good job, or potentially I need scholarships that are like 10 to 20,000 US dollars each time. But in truth, with a little bit of research, you will find that there are tons of scholarships that are like 1 or 2,000 US dollars, but you can get a lot of them. And they don't go claimed because people don't search for them, or B, they look at something and go, I'm not sure if I've qualified, so I just won't do anything.
Yeah.
And then just no one takes it. And so if you're willing to just ask, be like, oh, here's my situation. Am I qualified? Or even going to the school office and be like, okay, here's my situation. Is there anything that I can get for help? Even in a workplace, let's say you join a new company, going and sitting with HR and being like, listen, I'm brand new here. I don't know a lot of things. I don't know a lot of what to do. Can you just recommend the best place to get started? Someone will usually have a list, restaurants to go to, emergency numbers to call. If you lose your key, who to call. Someone will help you with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, this is my own experience. I remember I was working at Credit Suisse at the time, and it was winter, and I had the worst flu. 所以那个时候就重感冒，然后我整个是到了完全没有声音。But you know how it is in the States, there are no clinics around. You literally had to go to ER, or else you're just gonna have to buy something over the counter, right? So at the time I just bought something over the counter, but then I wasn't getting better. I lost my voice, I cannot work. And then I was just so sluggish. And then I just kind of mentioned it to my coworker. I'm like, I'm so sick. And then my coworker said to me, there is a hospital in the company. Do you know that, right? What? What? It's just in another building. All I had to do is walk over there. It's all paid for. So it's like a clinic.
Right.
All paid for in my salary. 然后我只要跟他讲我的症状，他帮我看了一下，都有 on-site doctor, and then they prescribed me medicine, and that was it. And just because, I never thought about asking for help, I was just kind of oh my god, 好痛苦哦. And then all I had to do was just tell my coworker, and that's it.
So back to that main idea, you're abroad, you're nervous, you feel shy, or worried about being embarrassed, but the truth is, just ask. You will usually receive help. And the worst thing is someone says, no, I can't help you. And you go ask another person.
So now the next thing, which is similar to asking for help, is self-advocate. Right? 在我们的 podcast 当中有蛮多集都提到了这个 concept. And this is a concept from Kono founder Stanley, right? He told us about this concept of self-advocate instead of saying aggressive. So self-advocate 也就是为自己争取。那我觉得到国外这个为自己争取的这个能力是非常的重要。It may not be just asking for help, but asking for resource. 你需要什么？你不会什么？这个时候呢，你一定要 self-advocate。那有一个很重要、非常重要的原因，就是因为其实我们在台湾，尤其是在比较一些系统之下，可能蛮多，比如说学校的老师或者是一些 staff， 他们可能会常问你说 What do you need? Or maybe there's a plan already set for you, for your path. But when you go abroad, 到国外，尤其是在西方文化的时候， no one will throw help at you if you don't ask.No one will give you resource if you don't ask for them. So you have to have a very clear idea what you want and then ask for it.
Let's jump into our last thing that people really need to consider, which is the power of finding a support group or a community. This seems like something that's really hard to do unless you know someone on the other side, but it makes a huge difference. There's a lot of ways that you can find support before you even arrive. One major thing I've learned being in Taiwan is that Taiwanese are everywhere in the world. And if you just ask around, there's a good chance that someone has an old elementary school friend or distant cousin, family relative that at minimum, they can offer you like an emergency contact number. So when you get there, you have that kind of backup. The other thing that you can do is when you arrive, try and find some kind of community. And there's a lot of ways to do this. A simple way is if you have a hobby here in Taiwan, there's a good chance that there's a hobby group wherever you go. Someone who is into or enjoys similar things to you, and that can be fast friends because you have a starting point. Or find another type of community. For many people, a religious community, a church or a temple is another way to at least start to get to know people. And that when you're stuck in a bad situation, or even you just don't know what to do and you need recommendations of how to handle something, you have people you can ask.
Yeah. And I think it goes back to this personality of, oh, I can do everything on my own. I don't need people. It's too embarrassing to ask for help. But honestly, 在国外的时候，尤其是我当初到国外，我常常都是到一些我完全不认识任何人的一些 cities 或一些城市。那这个时候呢，有一个 support system 真的会让你真的是舒服很多。Because you will feel a bit more insecure if you don't know anyone. You feel anxious if you don't know anyone. I mean, I don't know how many times when I was abroad, or probably the first few months when I was abroad in a new city, I thought to myself, well, if I got eaten by a wolf or a bear tonight, because it's possible, no one would know about this. And that was a terrifying thought. 所以我觉得有一个 support system, 那如果你是在工作的话, then your colleagues, 你公司也会有很多的所谓的 organization, right? And just like basically whoever that started that group, you can reach out to them. Just send an email to them. Hey, 我知道 and I know that you have this group that meets once a week in the office at night. Is there a way that I could join? May I just have a seat and kind of get to know everyone? So you could definitely ask for that. 因为其实在公司也有很多很多这种小型所谓的社团吧。So have that support system. 认识新的人，然后喜欢的人，你就开始可以 ask for them, ask for help, ask for advice, and have that very strong support system. That will go a long way.
Well, we hope that you take into consideration our 3 ideas about what to prepare when going abroad, whether it is a clear list of goals that you want to achieve, the ability to overcome that mental hurdle and be prepared to ask for help or self-advocate, or different ways to find a community or at least a base of support when you get somewhere. We hope this helps, and we'll talk to you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
The Executive Plus podcast is a Presentality Group production, produced and hosted by Sherry Fang and Nick Howard. You can search us on Facebook, 主管英文 Executive Plus. You can also find us on Instagram, Communication R&D, and email us at sherry@epstyleplus.com.